Thank you for joining us for Replays Guest Series. Joining me today is Shonnie Brinagh, who is the Director of Client Success and Managing Partner of PMO Solutions. And Shonnie's going to talk with us about preparing for discovery. So what do you have for us, Shonnie?
Well, thank you so much, Asia, for asking me to come and be a part of the series. Super exciting. And thank you for that wonderful introduction. I just wanted to kind of talk about, yes, the discovery aspect of the sales process, but kind of prior to going into discovery, what's important. And I think in my career, one of the things that have kind of been important to me and that have like really made me successful is getting to know who it is that I'm working with. We always talk, there's so many different sales methodologies out there. And I think that, we drive home the importance of finding a champion within, the organization that you're working with and really identifying who that is while you're prospecting. And so for me, I think what I've done well with is making sure that I do my research prior to discovery. So I wanted to touch on a little bit of, the importance of social media. It's your best friend nowadays, right? So we've got LinkedIn. Obviously, that tells a story, but to take it a step further, you've got Instagram, you've got Facebook, you've got all these different social media devices that you can tap into to really uncover who it is that you're working with, the person. And I think that's what's made, me successful in my career in the wonderful world of sales, especially software sales, because I deal with a lot of CEOs, CFOs, COOs, and, you got to find ways to relate to them. Seems that, obviously they've worked hard throughout their career, but what's really important to them? What makes them smile? What makes them laugh? What makes them cry? And when you're really able to tap into those areas of their lives, then you can really be a trusted advisor. That's not saying that you have to get to know the secrets and the intricate details of everything about them, but when you can relate to them in some way, shape, or form, it makes that relationship so much stronger, which makes them way more comfortable in spending thousands, sometimes even millions of dollars with you when they can trust you and know that you understand them. So I think that that's one of the areas that I tend to really focus on. I pride myself on relationship building. That's, what's made my career. So I wanted to make sure we called that out.
No, not at all. So it's really humanizing, that humanizing aspect, right? So that you're able to talk to them about things that are really, I would imagine it would make you stand out more as well.
Definitely.
Because you're not just a robot that's talking about business, you're talking about some of the things that they're into. How would you advise that you bring something like that into the conversation?
That's a great question. I mean, obviously you got to err on the side of caution with that, but when you're prepping for, I guess you can call it a discovery, and you've done your research and understand some of those things, I always like to give my prospect, which if you're going through a discovery, I would hope that you're going through that with the champion of this whole process, right?
Right.
I like to give them a sidebar call. I like to reach out to them and talk to them and just make sure I prep them for the discovery. Which obviously it can be a long and tedious process depending on what you're selling, right?
Sure.
So I like to make sure that I have a sidebar conversation up to and including, I hate that COVID has happened, but prior in the normal days, and hopefully we'll get back to that, but scheduling some sort of a meeting with them that's more intimate, take them to dinner, have just maybe a conference call with them, to just talk to them and let them know, hey, before we get into this discovery session, I want to really understand you and what you're looking to accomplish. And then also kind of tell you a little bit about myself. And when you approach your prospect with that sort of an intimate session, they're usually very accepting of that and think that you want to know more about them and want to know more about their business and want to make them comfortable. Yeah. So in terms of approaching, those types of intimate subjects, obviously, you know what you know because you've done your research, but I would suggest that you have like a pre-discovery call with whoever is your champion and whoever it is that you're prospecting to make those conversations come up. And it just comes up very organically. If you research someone and found out that they're into, I don't know, deep sea fishing, you can, say, hey, you know what? I think I saw something that said that you were, a deep sea fisher. I did it once and it was really fun for me. Tell me about that. Tell me about what makes you excited about that. And you can just open that up when it's just you and that person. So that way, when you go into the full blown discovery session with whoever is involved, in addition to the person that's championing you, they'll have your back. You know what I mean? And you can kind of walk through whatever you need to from a business perspective, but they will know that you know them and you understand what they're looking to accomplish. They'll be so much more receptive. And during those conversations that they're having without you being involved, kind of vetting you out, they will support you and you don't have, anything to worry about. So I always recommend really kind of finding that champion, doing your research and uncovering who these people really, really are, and then kind of letting that be your guide, if that makes sense.
That was awesome. That is super helpful. And it's funny because it seems like a small thing, but it's those small things that make big, big changes later on in the process.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the
Very
time.
welcome.